Now we've walked around and shown you all 5 functions of the machine, and you can see just how heavy duty the machine is. Nice cast iron, fantastic extruded aluminum, and 5 functions that really serve your needs very well. You will also notice that this machine has a pretty tight footprint. It's a little bit bigger than a table saw, but it's got 5 fantastic functions in here that really allow you to do projects great. The shop that we're in here is about the size of a 2-car garage, and you can see just how little space that it takes up. And of course, we're set up right in the middle here where you might want to move the machine when you're working. If you are going into a very tight workshop, or maybe you have a basement shop, there's another feature here that you may not see, and that's the ability to split this machine into 2 machines to move it into a workspace and reassemble it. And you'll see the light half and dark half of the machine. You're going to see a series of bolts down here. These 2 halves can be separated. You can move the machine into its place and put it back together. You can get it through a very, very tight doorway, reduce some of the weight of the machine, get it into a tight shop, and marry the 2 halves back up together and have a nice machine in a workshop that might be otherwise inaccessible. Now let's go ahead and put the machine through its paces. We're going to get some wood out. We're going to start using the machine, and you'll see all 5 functions in operation. We're going to start with the tabletop. I'm going to go ahead and make the cuts on it right now, and we'll get the tabletop glued up and in clamped so it can dry while we're coming back and doing the aprons and the legs. Now make sure that you read, understand, and follow all the safety instructions that come with your woodworking machines, or any power tool for that matter. And make sure that you use a good dose of common sense anytime you fire up a machine in your shop. Okay, now it's in clamps. Boy, nothing beats a long grain to long grain glue up. We'll let that dry while we get about the table legs and the aprons here. Now this is our leg stock right here. The first thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to dimension this stock so that it's ready to go before we start ripping it and cross cutting it. And that'll start over on the joiner and planer. Let's go ahead and convert it from a table saw to the joiner planer. Now we're going to set up to cut the mortises in these before we cut the taper. Well, now that we've got both sides cut, we're ready to start putting a taper on this leg. Now to cut these legs, we're going to use what they call a tapering jig. This is the Laguna tapering jig. And it simply will set up the angle. This will ride up against the fence and allow us to slide our legs through and get the taper we want. Okay, there's all four right there. Now let's start cutting some table aprons next.